All right, guys, welcome into the first episode of the DFW Disc Golf Digest. Kind of the plan for this podcast is just going to be going over a lot of like the stuff that happens in the DFW area. It's a large area. There's a lot of diff golf. Already 20 seconds into the podcast, I'm already messing up. Well, there's a lot of disc golf that happens in DFW, and we thought that it would be really cool to make a podcast so that amateurs and just local DFW players could have a place where they could, go and see kind of the stuff. There's other disc golf podcasts, but they all kind of talk about the Pro Tour, which is cool, right? But it's not as relatable for like us amateur players. So that's kind of our idea.
Like Sebastian said, want to kind of dabble into like the amateur disc golf scene and just highlight a lot of the Dallas events. My name's Chase. For reference, I play MA3 and I dabble into a little MA2. We've been playing for about 2 years.
Yeah, it's been about 2 years. I think we started in 2022, late 2022. We started playing tournaments, maybe early 23, I want to say.
Potentially.
My PDGA says that I signed up in 2022, but I signed up literally December 31st because I played an unsanctioned tournament and thought that I needed a PDGA number.
Yes.
But yeah, that's basically the gist of the podcast. I'm Sebastian. Typically I'm doing a lot of MA1, maybe some MA2 lately, as I've been kind of struggling in MA1. But yeah, that's going to be the aim of this. Today we're going to talk about some recent events that happened in DFW. Veterans Park Open was this weekend, so we're going to kind of go over that. Some crazy stuff happened in the final round of that. After that, we're going to talk about the Dirty Dozen Tour wrapping up and then going on into the 2025. I think they've posted the first event only.
Yeah, they posted the first event. So I don't believe the full Dirty Dozen Tour has been posted, but we'll kind of dab. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with the Dirty Dozen Tour, we'll kind of touch base with it later on.
Yeah. We're going to go over also, there's a couple new PDGA rules we're going over. That are going to be not a ton that are going to really affect the average player in tournament, but there's a couple that are just interesting. Kind of get some thoughts on that, and then we're going to go over as well just a couple interesting disc golf stories and history of the sport in this area. So to kind of get right into it, Veterans Park Open. I think it's the 34th Veterans Park Open. This thing was started in 1991, and they've been playing it literally the weekend before Veterans Day for the last 34 years. It's actually wild how that works. Honestly, there was a lot of big names. Mason Marchbanks, who won last year, played. Zachary Nash, Freddie Meza, and then some local guys as well. GT Hancock, Hayden Fredrickson, Zane Letts, Jaden Rye, Emerson Keith, Cameron Shirley, and a few others as well.
Greg Barsby played.
Greg Barsby. I did. Yeah, I'm literally looking at the list, and I kind of passed over there. Yeah, and Greg Barsby actually. We'll get into a second. So, first round, it was raining a lot. On Friday, it was raining. Mason Marchbanks and Zachary Nash both shot 10 down from the concrete pads in round one.
Which is crazy. Rated 1048. Yeah, kind of crazy. And if you watch, there is coverage posted. It looked absolutely dreadful to play in. Definitely not like the perfect weather. Shooting 1048 in that kind of weather, shooting 10 down realistically is insane.
Yeah, Mason kind of showed. I mean, he won it last year, so I mean, he's not. He knows the course very well. And like Chase was saying, there's some coverage that was posted by is the channel
Dave's
Disc Golf Locker. Davies Disc Golf Locker. Disc Golf Locker, I think, is the channel name.
Yeah, they posted. I know at least they have round one front nine and back nine. I did not see if they have round two, round three.
I saw round two. Maybe round three will be posted once this video goes live. But yeah, so Zachary Nash and Mason Marchbanks going out round one, shooting 10 down. Rounding off the lead card, going to day two is Hatcher Mason and GT Hancock. Second round, Zachary Nash pulled ahead a little bit. He finished 2 strokes over Mason. Honestly, it looked like it was just their tournament. They were at the top. It was Mason and Zachary Nash kind of battling it out round 1 and 2. GT was going to be on lead card. Literally hole 18, he's got like maybe a 10-foot tap in, literally dead center, spits out, cuts right through the chains on a little hyzer, just pops right out, and costs him a stroke, putting him onto chase card. and tied 6th versus tied 4th. So unfortunate. Because I mean, for me at least, I feel like I play better, especially if I'm trying to chase down the leader. I want to be on that card. I want to see how they're shooting. What do you think of that?
100%. I think especially given that course, given what Mason and Zachary had done the first 2 days. So, I mean, shooting 10 down, Zach Nash shot 10 down both days. Mason Marchbanks 10 down, and then bogey-free 8 down the second day.
So, round 3. And honestly, lead card kind of got off to a slow start. It was good weather. Lead card, I wouldn't say was making a ton of mistakes. They just weren't really catching a lot of birdies. But honestly, the entire chase card, which was, of course, GT, Freddie Meza, Greg Barsby, and Zane Letts even, they shot absolutely lights out. They, honestly, the first 3 of those guys all tied and set the new course record of 12 down.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's a new record in that layout. And they ended up taking all 3 podium spots from the chase card, if you'd believe that.
Yeah, I haven't pulled up. I'm looking now. They took all of them. Yeah, Zach Nash actually took his only bogey of the entire tournament in the 3rd round. I mean, that is part of what dropped him down into tied 3rd versus tied 2nd.
Yeah, Mason, I think, when I had this pulled up, Mason played really well. And as the victor of last year, he was definitely looking to repeat. He really just had, honestly, one little hiccup. Hole 12, he took a double bogey. It was his only. Yeah. He took maybe one other bogey the entire tournament. I think maybe he caught round 1 on hole 3. I couldn't remember. But a double bogey on the final round is just not something you could do. And honestly, like Chase said, Zachary Nash only took 1 bogey the entire tournament in the last round, and he still shot 6 down the final round. But it just wasn't enough to keep up with the course record. They said the -12, all 3 of them from the chase card, shooting that. And one thing that was pretty interesting, I thought. So also Jaden Rye. So he also shot 12 down as well. Yeah. But from 3rd card, not even chase card. Shot
and ended up tied 3rd.
Ended up podium him from 3rd card.
Tied 3rd, yeah.
He really, and the funny thing is, and I kind of relate to this as well, is the only real blemish of his entire tournament was a double bogey on the very first hole of the tournament. Very first hole, round 1, hole 1.
That's crazy.
Which is something that's
wild.
Something that I, as an amateur player, do quite a bit. Is I've done it in so many. You remember Waco?
Yeah, I
took a triple bogey, literally hole 1. Like they call out my name, and and literally hole 1 throw straight
triple bogey,
straight OB.
The one that comes to mind the most, honestly, is Hideaway. It was a shotgun start, and he started on probably one of the easiest holes on the course, and he took a quadruple bogey.
What hole? Yes, I did.
I don't remember the hole. It was the pond hole.
The pond.
It's like 9A or 9B or something.
8A. I think it's the pond hole. It's like 250 feet.
It's like 250 feet.
It's really cool.
It's an island hole.
Yeah, it's
I might
sick.
be being a little ridiculous calling it the easiest hole on the course, but it's definitely like one you want to walk up and birdie.
It's one you want to. It's
Most
one you
people
for sure want to get. So yeah, yeah, that was an interesting one. I took a quadruple bogey on hole 1, literally ended the entire tournament.
Tournament's
after
over
that.
in the first round.
Yeah, so I burned just whatever I threw just wasn't stable enough with the wind. Yeah. Burned it over, went out of bounds, went to the drop zone, ran the putt from the drop zone, which is probably maybe 80 feet, 90 feet. It's an elevated basket. I hit the base of it, rolled into the water. I was like, okay, I'll take like a 20-footer for a double bogey, and I hit the basket. Rolled literally just right at me, and I just had to putt from the exact same spot again. And I made the next one for a quadruple bogey, a 7. So So I mean, honestly, Jaden Ryan only finished 2 strokes back of the lead. If he wouldn't have double bogeyed that, he's
100%. I mean,
he's definitely thinking
a lot of what ifs. But really, you talk about Freddie Meza, and he shot 12 down. And what did he shoot the second round? Freddie Meza shot.
I think he shot like 8 or 9.
8 down.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like he shot like this blemish-filled tournament until the
he was just on chase card.
12 down.
Yeah,
he was always
round,
there.
Great round.
And I mean, it was a very good tournament. It was very competitive, unlike the bigger part of the Pro Tour where you just have Gannon Burr winning by like 10 to 15 strokes. Like,
No,
this was
yeah.
very competitive across the board. Anybody could have won on the last day. Anybody.
Realistically, yeah, honestly. And I think, so one of the things that I heard, shout out to my boy Hunter for this info. He was there that day playing. I think he got 15th. Shout out to him. So he was telling me that he, that literally hole 18 chase card, Freddie Meza and GT Hancock. GT's edge of circle for a birdie. Pretty easy. Freddie's off of the rough. He's up by 1 stroke on GT, and he said that Freddie threw an insane backhand turnover off the right side of hole 18 to absolutely park it for a birdie and secure the win.
Yeah, Freddie went 4 in a row, 15, 16, 17, 18. And GT just missed 16 in that stretch.
16 is not an easy hole. I don't necessarily know what I do on that hole. As an AM player, there a lot of them are throwing forehands or like over the tops, but like it's not an easy 100%. Birdie for an AM player.
100%. And while we're kind of highlighting VPO, we talked a little bit about MPO, but Emily Beach won FPO, 980 rated. +4 for the tournament. She actually shot 4 down in her final round.
That final round. Do you know who Emily Beach is? Have you heard of her before?
Never heard of her.
I didn't really know of her prior, but I looked her up because I was like, man, like I'm curious because her and Madeline Payton, who finished second, were kind of battling it out. I think Madeline was down 4 strokes after round 1, brought it back to only 2 strokes. Unfortunately, just didn't have a great round 3. Well, actually, really, she had an okay round, but Emily just shot an insane round, almost 1,000 rated round to finish it. But when I looked her up, she actually finished. Let me pull it up here. She
shot bogey free the 3rd round.
Yeah,
she shot 4 down bogey free.
Bogey free 4 down.
I'm not sure what layout they played. But
she was ranked 19th on the Women's Pro Tour last year. Emily Beach was. She's
amazing.
From Oklahoma, so I think she drove down for the event. Has kind of lost a little bit of rating points due to some inactivity this year, but she is currently the 100th highest rated women's player in the world. So,
I mean, that's big time.
Oh yeah, I mean, honestly, I bet, Madeline probably feels, I wonder how she feels that was keeping up with her, and maybe putting a little bit of pressure on her the first 2 rounds.
MP40, Brandon Cawthorn won. He actually shot 24 down, 1026 rated.
Yeah, that would have actually been very competitive in MPO.
Yeah, it would have been competitive in MPO. Congratulations. MP50, Tony Shirley coming through the win, a big win. He shot 18 down, 13 strokes better than second place.
Very dominant win that was.
His hot round for the whole tournament was actually 8 down. He shot the second round, 8 round bogey free. In fact, I think he took 1 bogey the entire tournament. Hole 3, he double bogeyed. We actually played. So what's kind of amazing is we actually played with Tony and Cameron at the VPO Flex before the AM weekend, and they shot hot that day as well.
Actually, interesting fact. I don't know if I want to say whenever we played with Tony, the star hole, I believe hole 11, the star from space they call it.
They built it.
I want to say that he said he either helped build it or design it. I don't recall.
I thought he said a little bit of both. I thought that he had helped design it and they built it as well.
I think you're right.
Last division that played in pro was MP60.
Wasn't a
Mitch McClellan. 3 players, but I mean +3.
Man, Mitch McClellan over here in MP60 is 970 rated.
So he won. They had a playoff, it looks like, because they both shot +3. Or wait, hold on. Yeah. No playoff. I'm still
looking at the wrong.
I'm getting used to. I'm looking at round 1. They tied round 1 at +3. Mitch actually won by a mile. He shot 4 over in strokes. Yeah.
That kind of wraps up Veterans Park Open.
Very
I think today Veterans Day right now. Monday?
Today is Veterans Day.
Nice.
Today, Monday, we're shooting this. It's Veterans Day.
Yeah, might not be Veterans Day when y'all watch this.
I will say this. I felt that it was a really well-run tournament.
Oh, 100%.
Overall by Chainwreck.
I think it's like Chainwreck and the Arlington Disc Golf Association in combination. I think they run some of the better events in DFW.
Terms of
them and Dynamic.
Yeah, they do. I think that between Chain Bombers, Dynamic, and Chainwreck, those are the best, and they run a lot of the bigger tournaments. And you can definitely feel when you're playing a different event the way that it's held. This event in particular, I felt was held to at a really high standard, from spotters to just the OB lines. Everything seemed to be really kind of just tuned in. It made for a great weekend, even on the AM side to play it.
Oh no, it was a great tournament.
It was great.
Was it 3-rounder? No, two-rounder, 2-day.
2-rounder, 2-day with
Saturday,
tee times.
Sunday, tee time, 2-rounder.
Great tournament. Which probably played I think that hole 3 at Veterans Park in the layout we played the second day is probably my favorite hole in Dallas.
Yeah, I think that's the hole 3, the gold layout of hole 3. Where
from the concrete pads.
Yeah, from the concrete pad, and then it goes up.
You play into an island.
To the fairway, yeah, and then the idea is to kind of get into that little, it's like a 40-foot island, and there's a little drop zone that's and not super forgiving.
I just, maybe I'm a little weird, but like being an amateur player, like you see the pros play and they have the red and green flags, and like you just don't have a lot of holes like that when you're playing at the AM level. So to have something like that at this tournament, I just thought it was really elevated, especially like all the like little bits of added OB. They didn't feel forced. I thought overall it was a great tournament.
No, it was super well ran. So yeah, shout out to Chainwreck and Arlington Disc Golf Association.
Absolutely.
I actually had that in my notes, and I was going to go over that as well. So
yeah, no,
nice.
Definitely.
Yeah. I think next, speaking of like well ran tournaments, Dynamic Carrollton. They run a lot of tournaments. They've got the Dirty Dozen Tour that they do. I think they ran that in coordination with Chain Bombers this year.
With Chain Bombers.
So the way that they do the Dirty Dozen is it's as it says, it's a dozen tournaments that they do each season, and it's kind of like its own mini Dallas / there's one event that happens in Waco tour that you get points for and stuff.
Absolutely, which I think is really cool. I think it's something, and about halfway through the Dirty Dozen Tour, we figured out what the Dirty Dozen Tour is.
Yeah, how it worked. Like I didn't even know. Like I heard
players.
of it. I knew it was like a series of tournaments, but I didn't know there was like points and actually like payout for players that scored well across the tournaments. I thought it was just one event. You play, you're done. It's just a cool 12 events. They post them up ahead of time, and you know what they are. That you go to them, done. One and done.
There's actually awards for the top 3 in each division, so you'll get a trophy if you place top 3
over the full 12 events, right?
Over the full 12 events.
I think eight rounds count.
The top 5 in MA1 and MA2 will receive payout. I'm going to assume that's in merch. Top 3 in all other divisions receive payout. Cash for pros, merch for AMs. Here's an interesting thing, and this is something to think about for the 2025 season. So again, this tour runs across 12 tournaments. If you compete in every single event, you get $200 in merch credit.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that you would get the 200 in merch credit. It's actually kind of crazy because
my assumption is that's to Dynamic Disc Carrollton.
No, yeah, it's got to be 100%.
For sure, 100%
credit, 100%.
So yeah, just for playing all the events, you automatically get $200, and we'll kind of get into this just by playing all the events. You're also probably guaranteed first, second, or third.
Yeah, for sure. So when I had the standings pulled up right now, in a lot of the divisions, so you get, obviously there's 12 events, and your best 8 scores count towards like your overall score for it. So you don't have to play all 12, but it does encourage you to with that extra $200
you could
for sure.
You could play 8, but the extra 200 is awesome.
But there's not a lot of, honestly, just checking the standings for where everybody's at. There's really not many people that have even completed 8 events, and we're coming up. This weekend?
This weekend
is the last event
finale, which we'll kind of dive into in a second. But
we'll talk about that in a
for reference, the way you receive points before we go through the standings, each player's best 8 events count towards the final standings. You get 10 points for each completed event. You get 1 point for every person each player beats or ties per event. You get 2 bonus points if you finish in the top 20% of the division per event. 2 bonus points per event for those who play all the events. So if you play all of the events, you get 16 bonus points because it's going to take your 8 best scores. So you get 16, but that's almost a full event up.
Yeah,
and you'll see when we go through there. I believe in my division, only one person has completed all the events. I have it pulled up right now. I'll see if he's registered to play this weekend. I have to assume if you've played the other ones, you're registered for sure.
I would say so. Because
let's see, he is registered.
Who's that?
Rob Bohawk.
Rob Bohawk.
So he's in first place
in MA3.
So
leading MA3.
He's leading MA3. So we'll start with MA3 in terms of the standings, because honestly, if you're listening to this and you're close, like $2 per event from every single player goes to the AM payout. So
it could be quite a bit. Like actually, we don't know. Chase is well, I won't spoil it, but he's sitting in the standings right now, so he's going to play this weekend. I'm
going to play this weekend. So surprisingly, they actually have not updated the standings on the Facebook page for the Dirty Dozen Tour. The person that was in 4th place actually won the Alex Clark Memorial. I forget what I placed. I think I placed 5th. I was on a card with him. What was his? Anthony Pipkin, right?
Yeah, I think
Pipkin?
Pipkin.
Anthony Pipkin, really cool guy.
I think it's got him listed as 8th place right now. Yeah, it has him as 8th place with 101 points. So quite not a ton behind like 3rd place. So honestly, he could be
how far
after.
What's 3rd place?
You're in 3rd place.
Yes,
at
I'm in
115.
Yeah,
115 points. So he's only
14 points separated. Again, but he did win that tournament. I believe it was his first win. I was on lead card with him in that second round of that tournament at Alex Clark. So I believe his first win. Probably it potentially could have moved him into 3rd. They haven't posted the standings yet. Everything's going to come down to this.
The final event,
the finale tournament.
They call it the finale. I don't know if there's any extra points on the line, but yeah, we can go ahead and jump straight into the standings. So we were talking about MA3. I'm just going to read them off. Scores.
Yeah, I would just go through top 5 or so.
Yeah, I'm gonna go top 5. So MA3 got Rob Bohack. He's way up there. Honestly, he's him and 2nd place guy are like miles above everybody else. And then Zachariah,
my boy Zachariah.
I've never played with Zachariah, but I think you have.
I've played with Zachariah at a number of tournaments, and there's not many people that are better to be on a card with than Zachariah.
Nice, yeah. Shout out Zachariah. He's up almost 65 points on 3rd place, which Chase is in 3rd place.
Yeah.
Then we got Jack Klepp, who a lot of you guys know Jack Klepp. He's a young local youth player. Honestly, he's like 13 maybe.
Well, here's the deal with what has happened to Jack Klepp is he got all his points early and he rated out of MA3.
Yeah, I wonder what happens with that, because I wonder if he's in the MA2 standings. We'll take a look at that.
He is in the MA2 standings, and he's registered for MA2 at the finale.
So I wonder how that would work, because he could.
You can only get points for your
divisions. Like he's unfortunate.
To be honest, it's very unfortunate for him. He certainly would have passed me up for sure. It's that's the unfortunate thing about being good, I guess.
you rate out of the rec
division.
Oops. Yeah. Whoops. Well, then after that we've got 4th place. Well, Jack was 4th place. 5th place we've got Nick Dame with 110.
I feel like he might have rated out of MA3 also.
Oh, I think he did. I want to say he just hit 900 rated. I want to say at a recent event.
You're catching on to the trend here. Chase wins by
everyone
rated out
rates
except
out,
for Chase.
and Chase sneaks away with a 3rd place. Dirty Dozen Tour win. So going into MA2, we've got a couple of people that have played quite a bit of events here. So we got Adolfo Hernandez sitting up in 1st place. Jordan Grimes in 2nd. He's the only player that's played a full 8 events.
And I'll let you know, Jordan Grimes is registered in MA2 as well.
Okay.
For the finale.
Darian Payton, number 3. I think did he rate out of MA2? I know he plays mostly MA1 now.
How do you rate out of MA2? What's the cap?
935. What's Darian sitting at?
Not rated out. Just is playing MA1.
He's playing MA1. Darian, maybe you see this and you realize you're only. I mean, you're in 3rd right now, so you might have MA2 in the lock.
Where's he at in the MA1 standings?
I don't know, honestly. He's got a 20-point lead over 4th place, and he's only like 30 points back of 2nd.
Who's in 4th place?
4th place, Marshall Gowers. 5th place is William Peterson.
Well, Marshall Gowers is certainly registered. William Peterson, not registered. Ooh. So that's an interesting dynamic, because go see where Darian's at in MA1.
In MA1, yeah, I'll take a look.
He could end up placing in both.
Before I go to MA1, Jack Klepp, MA2 is sitting at 7th, so he's actually not far behind. So he could, I don't know if he'll be able to catch like 3rd or anything with a good.
MA2 is the biggest division. Right now, it's looking like the winner is going to get about 27 points. But more people will register by this weekend. Certainly.
For sure.
There's
yeah.
15
And if
people
you haven't
in the
registered,
division currently.
you plan to play it?
If you haven't registered,
You
get
better
registered
register.
now. Yeah, get registered
Yeah.
now. 3-round tournament, amazing.
Yeah, I was
Coyote
gonna say,
and Beaver, if
we
you
need-
haven't played them,
we
some
need-
of the best courses in the DFW area.
Oh, yeah, they're great. We need more 3-round tournaments, and I really like the format that they're doing for this. It's a 2-round Saturday, 1-round Sunday. I really like that format, I think. Just
I think
because
so.
it's
I want to
just
go
cool.
home and I want to sleep and think about what I'm going to do on Sunday, how I'm going to throw it all away.
Yeah, I do my throwing away in
Who
hole one.
is? Can you go to the FA2 stand or FA3 standings?
But yeah, so AM's women's side, on the AM side, got Madeline Payton first place.
Okay.
Lourdes Herrera
Yep.
second. Denise Gentry third place. They're quite a bit away. Kayla Ryan is the one in fourth. And Kate Crow. Oh, shout out
Crow.
Kate.
Shout out Kate.
Shout out Kate. She needs to register for that. So MA1, Keegan Hopp is in first place. Roderick, I don't know how to pronounce Roderick's last name. Nick Kunn is in third.
Okay.
Jackson McDonald, fourth.
Okay.
And he's only a couple points behind.
Shout out Jackson. Shout out Hooligan Discs.
Oh, yeah. So we got Jackson fourth place. Chris Murdink in fifth place. And then Darian Payton, sixth place. So he's
Is it like achievable though?
I mean, he could move up to third.
Is it
Honestly,
achievable?
there's only like 20-point difference between him and third place.
None of those people you just listed in MA1 are registered, by the way.
Besides Jackson and Darian, Jackson's registered, right? I think I saw him on the list.
Jackson is not registered.
Ooh, Jackson, register up, boy. You're
Jackson is not registered unless he's an MPO. What are the pro rankings for FPO and MPO?
So FPO. We're going to just go into FPO. First place, Madeline Payton.
Okay.
Second, Mia Lofton. Third place, Kathy Kunn.
Yeah.
MPO, first place, Mickey Welsh, Landon Knight, and Daniel Vasquez. And honestly, most of them are like way ahead of everybody else.
Every single person you just named in the pro divisions is registered.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Interestingly enough, so Madeline, the one that we were talking about earlier, they got second at VPO.
It's also in the MA3 standings.
She is leading the AM Women's Dirty Dozen Tour points and the FPO points.
And she's probably in the top 10 of MA3.
Yeah, she was, yeah.
What about MP40?
Got Robert May sitting in first, Alex Aguilar, Bucky Garrett are top three.
All three registered.
MP50, Eric Buford,
Okay.
Michael Haberman, and Zach Tate.
Two of them are registered.
Oh, also Tony Shirley. He's sitting fourth right now in MP50. Is he?
Really? He's registered in MP40.
Oh, he might be eyeing that. In MP40. Ooh,
He's registered in MP40.
Ooh,
there is more people registered in MP40, so that might
makes sense. He's probably more
making
eyeing
of
the
their-
cash, eyeing the win, honestly.
Yeah.
Because pro divisions for this tour point standing do pay out cash, but I don't know if it's
Yes.
a ton. I don't know how that works
Yeah.
necessarily. Moving on to MA40, we've got Chance Nelson first, William Wood, Oscar Jordan sitting second and third. MA50, we've got Jeff Prime, Chris Bridges, Gary Collier sitting third. MA60, I think it was the last division. Kirk Cunningham, Jesse Gonzalez in second. Brad Creech is sitting in third.
Perfect. The dynamic events in particular, just to bring it up, just because Dynamic is the one hosting the finale, Steve runs these tournaments incredibly. They're very tightly just kind of put together.
Yeah.
The rules.
Yeah,
Sebastian knows all about the rules.
Yeah. Steve penalized me 2 strokes one time because I forgot to submit my scorecard.
I hate to tell you, but you should have.
No.
finalized your
I
scorecard.
for sure should have. No, it's definitely on me. But that's not anything against Steve or anything. But that's
No.
just saying that he will make sure people are doing what they need to be doing. So,
Yeah, and I will say,
Steve's great. He's going to make sure people are doing what they need to be doing. They're people are in the right spot, teeing off at the right times.
Definitely. In fact, one of the last tournaments I played, I've played almost all of the Dirty Dozen tour events in which they've been dynamic. They've all been incredible. But he ran the last one that was at Beaver and Coyote for Texas AMs, and it was great. I mean, water, snacks on the turns.
Oh, like multiple times. Yeah,
multiple times.
2 or 3 stops
Multiple
throughout the round.
stops. You can get water. You can get snacks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, also it's cool as an AM player. There's not a lot of tournaments where you get your name read out on hole 1 all 3 rounds. Pretty cool. That was exciting. Cool. They got to. It was cool, you know.
Very cool event. Very cool.
Typically a crowd, you know, a little bit of pressure, you know.
Yeah. They typically host a flex start the day before the actual tournament. So like this Friday, go to the flex start, get tuned up for the actual event. Saturday, get your 2 rounds in. Sunday, you get another round, and it closes out the Dirty Dozen Tour. So if you're up there in the standings, again, I was pleasantly surprised. We got about halfway through the season before we ever knew what it was, and we checked the standings. In fact, Zachariah, I had to ask him 2 times what this tour was at 2 separate events. And
yeah,
after I figured out what it was, I noticed that they talk about it at the beginning of every single event.
They do.
In the player meeting.
Yeah,
which we also skip sometimes. So.
Yeah, which you know, interestingly enough, I think we'll talk about some PDGA updated rules in a while. Some certain tournaments, I think B tiers and up, like if you don't check in before the player meeting, you could potentially be your spot could be given to somebody on the wait list.
I think it should be that way anyway. I think you should be checking. For sure. You should be checking in before the player meeting. You should be there and checked in before the player meeting. So I like that.
No, I like that change.
Because
I was just go segue straight into the rule updates that are going into.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I think that's a good segue. Honestly, was there anything you wanted to say about the Dirty Dozen Tour?
Go play the finale.
Yeah, but honestly, if not for any other reason other than I think it's the last big tour before like February/March, so it's like really there's not any other tournaments.
Probably the biggest tournament that's left. 2025 kicks off pretty early. I believe it's January 7th and 8th. Do you have it pulled up over there?
The next event,
Straddle de Brazos, is the first.
January 11th and 12th. If you're not playing this, I mean, there's not really any other tournaments to be playing. This is like the last one before it gets dark at like 5 p.m. There's not a lot of disc golf going on right now. So definitely get registered. You can want to play it. Going on into some of the PDGA rule updates, there's really honestly not a ton that affect like players at like every tournament level. I think the biggest one, it's actually kind of interesting. We mentioned this when it was, I guess, potentially brought up between me and you. We were just kind of talking about it. Was C tiers and up. Well, I guess all events. Technically, all sanctioned events will now require a bathroom. What do you think on that?
Love this addition.
Right. So I think that's great because how many times you never know when
you never know what's gonna happen.
You're warming up for a round and you gotta make a little quick gas station trip or something.
You never know what's gonna happen. I've missed out on a good 20 minutes of warm up time before. No, I actually love that addition. I think, even if it's at the cost of a couple extra dollars per tournament to fund having a porta potty there, and that's probably what's going to come, is some of the TDs are going to have to up the prices of some of the events to basically rent a porta potty. And maybe they won't. I think that it's probably going to happen, but I do love that change. I think it should be an addition. There's too many courses with no restrooms.
Yeah, I know, and it's got to be within walking distance of the course is one of the specifications. It's got to be clean. The other thing that I'm interested about knowing is not only just how it's going to affect the price, but do you think more tournaments will happen at courses that have bathrooms that are already defined, or do you think?
I think there's a good chance, but. While I say that there's a lot that don't have them, a lot of them do. And I know, just to Alex Clark restrooms, Coyote and Beaver. Every time we've played Coyote and Beaver for a tournament, there's a porta potty there.
Yeah, I think they already have. They bring porta potties, maybe because there's no gas station close or anything. They just know that they need to. I don't know if they might just have some out there. That might just be. Audubon has.
Thinking about it now, Zebo's. I recently went and played a Zebo's Dynamic Disc Flex. Had a porta potty, I believe.
Yeah. So,
and maybe I'm wrong, but I think that's a great addition.
It's a basic need, honestly.
Basic necessity.
I am going to be curious how it's going to affect the overall cost of some of the tournaments in general, which I don't think that's a bad thing. I'm okay paying a couple extra bucks to have access to a bathroom at a tournament. So another one is tournament directors will now have to specify how the payout is for AMs. Is going to be handled, and it's got to be in the pre-registration material, so like on Disc Golf Scene or wherever, which is
what does that mean?
So like obviously, so the TDs can pass fees through to the players, and a lot of tournaments kind of don't always specify what those fees are going to.
Oh, okay.
Typically, that's going to include like renting
Okay.
the course. Players pack is sometimes separate or included in that, but renting the course, trophies, all kinds of other things, they're going to have at least a good breakdown of, you know, just how that money is going to be handled, which I think as an AM player is great because, you know, just knowing where your money's going. For my first like year of playing, I just assumed I didn't know where any of it went. Like, I didn't know what the requirements for was. I knew obviously it went to payout, but I wasn't getting any of it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't win any payout until like the middle of this year, so
Yeah.
I never really thought about it. I just paid the money to go play with
You
friends.
get
and
typically
whatever,
I think a lot of
whatever
us
it was.
AM players, we just, you know,
I don't think that event that necessarily
that's gonna
affects
affect
most
much.
people.
No, but
I think most people
I think
don't.
it's great to know.
I think
though.
it's
Like,
great to
wanna
know, but I
wanna
just
know
don't
where
think most people
like, I wanna
think
know
about
if,
it.
You know, because like I mean, there's you know,
We've definitely finished some events. I won't say which ones, and we get to the end of it and we're like, there's 30 people registered. We paid this much. Why is my payout not enough to get a disc?
Yeah, or like you getting like, or at a recent one, I think it was 24 people in the division, and first place didn't even get their money back. Didn't even get, you know, like close to it. It was like,
yeah, they got a trophy.
well, it counts towards the payout, but there was like a lot of fees on that one. Well, there was,
so maybe it's a good thing. I don't think I ever really thought about it too much.
Other ones, there's just a couple clarifications on certain rules. If your disc, and I run into this a lot in AM tournaments where if your disc goes out of bounds, you don't get your 3 minutes to look for it. That's always been a rule. That's been the rule, but they clarified it more importantly. If your disc goes out of bounds and you lose it, you don't get your 3 minutes because it's not a lost disc. There's the card can determine where your lie is going to be from.
Okay.
You're allowed to look for your disc as long as you're not holding up play.
Oh, so I mean,
So
I guess
it's fine. But they
realistically,
specified
the idea is that you would go back after your round.
Oh yeah. I mean, you can look for it if you think you could find it, but if it's lost, you don't.
You know, it is what it is. It was Shawnee that it happened a lot. When we played that Shawnee tournament, there was a creek on the left.
Yeah.
And that was all of the backups for the entirety of the tournament was people looking for their discs on blind hyzer shots with a creek left.
Yeah, but you're OB, so it's like
but you're OB, so now
you're probably waiting like 10 minutes on some of the holes. Maybe more.
So now with that rule, you're not taking your 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And
it's not a new rule, but just they clarified it that you don't get that.
Rule.
You
okay,
don't get that
that's
time.
fair. If your card cannot determine that you win OB, you have to re-tee. If you win OB, they can determine where they think you went out of bounds at.
100%. Yes, exactly. So a lot of the time, you're definitely wanting. If your disc is lost, you probably want it to be OB versus it being a lost disc.
Well, maybe that Shawnee Creek kind of. It's tucked in the woods, so if you're playing from where you went OB, you're taking a meter in. You're still in the woods, so you're still pitching out. Probably.
Oh, 100%. I think so.
Maybe 50-50.
That's like the main rules.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of other craziness that's going on. Like they said, that just other like small clarifications. I mean, honestly, it's nothing crazy. They were thinking about implementing the timeout we talked about, me and you, but I think they opted. I don't know if they opted against it or if not enough players wanted it to happen or what. But there's like a lot of players have been talking about it in tournaments that I've played. And they're not going through with it. Do you know the rule of the timeout?
Yeah, but I just don't think, and thinking about the AM side of things, I don't know many AMs that I've ever played with that just hold up play because their tempo is so slow.
None on my card. It always feels like the card in front of me is taking slow.
Oh, the card in front of me is always slower.
Card in front of you is always slow.
The card in front of me is
no
always
matter what
slow.
tournament.
And we have to always let the card behind us know that it's the card in front of us.
Oh yeah, you got to let them know.
You got to let them know it's not you.
It's you holding them up.
Other things that I think we really wanted to highlight. There's a lot of good minis in DFW. I don't know how many people know how many minis there actually are.
Oh, dude, there's so many.
You could play disc golf every night of the week if you really wanted to. But we're going to highlight some of our favorites. We've played a lot of minis just in the DFW area. So Monday nights, obviously you're missing out on this one. There's two in particular that are really good. Bill Allen, Monday Night Mini. This time of year, you're going to need glow just to be able to play. They also do bring your own partner at Alex Clark, which is playing glow.
Yeah, which I think is a great. I think it's a better glow course than Bill Allen, but I think both are fun. Both are fun, just depending on where you're at. I like Bill Allen a lot.
I think Bill Allen, they play the shorts.
Oh, they do different Okay,
They
yeah,
play the
that's
shorts
cool.
for
That's
glow.
cool.
The one tonight was shorts for sure.
Oh, cool. Okay, that's cool.
Tuesday nights, shout out to Cade Caps.
Breck.
Best,
One of the best ran minis, I'd say.
It's the best mini in all
overall.
it's the best mini in all of DFW in terms of just overall turnout, a consistent turnout.
Cash payout for
cash
AMs.
payout for AMs. Can we say that? Yeah.
Yeah. It's a mini. It's unsanctioned.
Yeah.
Unsanctioned.
Cash payout for AMs.
Yeah.
A lot of fun, a lot of competition, a lot of divisions. All the divisions get people. There's MA3, there's MA1.
Yeah, it's one of the things I think I like about that mini, honestly, the Tuesday mini at Breckenridge, is that they're very like straightforward. They post always ahead of time. Whenever they were debating if they wanted to have glow minis, he let the Facebook group for the club determine if they were going to have glow or not, or if they just wanted to cancel the mini altogether. Also, they kind of have a rule: if you shoot too high within each division, you get like strikes, get moved up over time.
An interesting thing they do, they actually keep a consistent record of the course records by division.
Oh yeah,
so there's an MA3 record, there's an MA1 record. If you are the current record holder, you cannot play in that division. You have to play up.
Like if you beat the record.
If you beat the record, there is payout.
I think somebody recently in MA1 shot insane.
Yeah, they did.
They definitely, I don't know who it was, but they shot like insane out of MA1. And MA1 typically like a couple down shoots there. Yeah. Anyways, back to the different mini tournaments. But shout out to Cade. That's a great run mini. Yeah, keep
lots
doing
of great
doing,
CTPs. Wednesday night, putt night.
Yeah, putt night's starting up. It's payout goes through Dynamic Disc.
Yeah, we went to the last one. A lot of fun.
Yeah, super great. It's at a place called the Sports Garden in Coppell near Carrollton.
Bring your ID.
Yeah. Bring your ID, dude. I didn't have my ID with me, and she was like, did not want to let me in.
It's
like a bar / volleyball.
It's a bar volleyball pit.
It's like a sports grill basically, but there's a spot.
They definitely want you 21 and up.
100%.
They want you 21 and up.
Yeah, for sure. Pull up there. I went to some of them last season, and some of the local pros were playing in there. I saw GT a few times in there, so it's cool.
Yeah,
it's a real chill environment. You can order some food, order some drinks if you'd like.
Order food, order drinks.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
I think also is the Alex Clark singles mini on Wednesday.
I think it is.
Alex Clark singles mini on Wednesday.
Clark singles mini. You're going to hear us bring up Alex Clark.
They do a ton of minis out there. People love Alex Clark.
Alex Clark's a great course.
What's Thursdays?
Thursday nights.
Thursdays Trophy Club. Right? No, Trophy Club is Monday.
Club is on Mondays.
Oh.
That's another really good mini, disc golf station mini. It's a traveling mini on Mondays. We just particularly know Monday because that's when they play Trophy Club, which we like to go play Trophy Club.
Yeah.
Thursdays. I'm actually not sure. Pull up. I'll go to Friday while you pull it up. Yeah. So Friday, Another Round Disc Golf actually hosts a glow mini. They do singles every single week except the 1 week that me and Sebastian went, and we got random draw doubles. But a lot of fun, really well ran, and again, we went 1 week and it was a massive turnout. We've heard it's great turnout every single week. So if you're looking for a glow mini, that's the one to do. So go play the Flex at Coyote and Beaver. Head straight to Alex Clark. It's a long drive, but it's worth it, I promise.
For sure.
Speaking of that, has Another Round Disc Golf opened yet? I don't think they do.
Not yet.
I don't think they have. I think they opened.
I believe his name is Russell, the one that's
it's
like
Russell.
He's hosting those minis and is like in charge of like the Another Round Dallas. He told me they were set to probably open early January. So
awesome.
That'll be good because we've got a lot of disc golf stores in DFW, but never hurts to have another one, especially if they're going to be hosting minis and tournaments. We definitely welcome
flexes.
I think they hosted a flex. They hosted one of the flexes at Town Lake, maybe.
They hosted a flex at Town Lake, yes. The weekend before the McKinney Classic. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Part of the Dirty Dozen Tour.
Thursdays. There's quite a few on Thursdays. Random draw doubles at Jimmy Porter in Carrollton.
Okay.
Shawnee doubles.
Yep.
Thursday.
I haven't played any of those. Do I just not disc golf on Thursdays?
I think we don't disc golf on Thursdays, brother. Or if we do, we play probably just casual.
What do I do on Thursdays?
Then Friday, you kind of went over that. Fridays, it's Flex Start Fridays.
Flex Start Fridays. Everybody loves Flex Start.
Saturday, there's minis on Saturdays. I've really never played many of them, honestly. There's a ton.
If I have a free Saturday, I'm really hoping that there's a sanctioned event that I can go play.
Preferably a 2-rounder. Sunday, there's quite a bit. Shawnee has their singles. Jimmy Porter has singles. We we probably should be saying the time, but we've already gone through these. So check UDisc for the times on those. They honestly change.
They fluctuate
now that the
so
season.
frequently with the season to get started. Pretty much assume that if you're playing a mini during the week right now, it's Glow.
It's like 6 p.m. most of them starting.
And to be honest, we avoided Glow for so long, and it is incredible. I love it.
We were like, oh, it's
so
a Glow mini? No, we don't want to go to that.
We just basically had to go through my disc collection and collect what Glow discs I had and try to build somewhat bags to play. Alex Clark is awesome though,
because you don't need a ton of discs.
You don't need a ton of discs.
Mostly putters, mids, couple fairways. If you want some utility. I probably threw 4
discs across the entire mini. A lot of fun.
Yeah. We were like allergic to Glow for a while.
I'm allergic to 2 things. I'm allergic to Glow, and I'm allergic to random draw dubs. And I walked straight into both of them the last Friday that we went.
Yeah, blind. Didn't know it was random draw doubles. To be honest, I mean, your guy was pretty good though. That was on your card. That was on your team.
What was his name?
Bro, I don't know what his name was.
I couldn't remember his name.
I mean, he was parking a lot of the holes that you
second.
weren't.
We got second. It was a great little ham and egg experience for me. But yeah, no, I mean, a lot of fun to play the minis. Something that we should have done early on as well.
You know, I want to make sure I'm rested for my rounds, but we were just getting it. There was definitely times where we played like 5 sanctioned rounds in a weekend, 2-rounder on Saturday, 2-rounder on Sunday, flex on Friday.
One of my favorite wins.
Which one's that?
The chain wreck flex at North Park came after I played the 2-rounder at Turner. So we played a 2-rounder at Turner in August.
Oh, yeah. I remember
so it was absolutely boiling hot. We were exhausted, and we were like, you know what? There's a flex at North Park, and it's about a 20-minute drive.
So we pulled off 3 rounds in one day, yeah.
There's 2 people in particular to blame for this, Darian and Madeline.
Yeah.
Because we were sitting at Taco Bell with them between the 2 rounds, and they were like, yeah, we're going to go to chain wreck after this. And I was like, oh, they're having a flex. We're in. It was already decided.
It doesn't take a lot to convince us to play this.
Doesn't take a lot. So squeezed out the Turner 2-rounder in the heat just to go to that flex where I did win that flex. So it's, I definitely packed a lot of rounds into this year. Probably only have about 1 left, but I'll probably finish somewhere around 58 events this year.
Damn, yeah.
No, that's a lie. 33 events.
33 events.
33 events this year.
Oh, yeah. You're thinking career, yeah. No, yeah. That was, 3 events in one day. I can't believe we...
The one thing I do feel like, and what we really want this podcast to do is kind of level out the tournament scene in Dallas. Like, we want to see the highest quality tournaments possible. So if we see something we don't like, we're going to let you guys know, and we're going to let you know the positives as well. But definitely, like, this year in total, most of the events that were run pretty well.
Oh no, honestly, I'd say most of them were ran well. There was a couple, that
there's some questionable ones.
Weren't bad, but maybe some payout felt like there were
some payouts
extra
were a little
fees
off.
That just surely. I mean, obviously, I want tournament directors to be able to make money off running these tournaments, because that's how we get better tournaments. Is
100%.
If they're not making money, they're not going to want to run these events. Yeah. But at the same time, like, kind of with that PDGA rule, I think just letting us know where that money is going, because if there's because like for me, if I see there's like $30 in fees tacked onto a tournament and only 25% of the entries go into payout, I'm like, okay, that's a little weird. But if there's actual genuine fees, like maybe, Grapevine or Flower Mound or whatever area the tournament's in is like is charging them a lot for access to that tournament, maybe it's necessary. And being able to see that, I'll be able to know.
No, 100%. But just to kind of wrap things up as we finish,
got one more little segment
we'll
go over. So with this being like a DFW section podcast, I kind of put a little feeler out on Facebook, the DFW Disc Golf group, just asking for some interesting or like insane moments, stories, or just some facts about DFW disc golf. And there was a lot of people that commented on there, but one in particular stood out to me. John Mairo posted that when he was competing in the 1997 Veterans Park Open, which very relevant, Veterans Park Open literally just finished up yesterday. He threw a disc on the second to last hole of the event. it was a different layout at the time. He kind of explains that a little bit, but he said that he threw over the top with like a sky roller, and when they went to go find where his lie was, his disc was broken in half. They looked around for a little bit, and he put a picture here. I'll post that up. They looked around for the other half of the disc, and it was about 15 feet up in a tree, which back then I guess was automatic OB. There was no like you just drop a lie underneath it like there is now. So he was OB because the way that they do that, if your disc breaks, your lie becomes whatever is the larger chunk of the disc, and so obviously they've got the half that's smaller.
What kind of rule is that?
I think it's still in effect too. If your disc shatters, which I've never had it,
thing.
But I think back then discs
what a
just
very
weren't made.
specific thing for some things to not be very specific. What a very specific thing.
Yeah,
like the larger chunk of your broke. That must have happened a lot back then.
I think
but
so.
Maybe not.
I think so. Honestly, no. Well, yeah, and so he goes up, takes a penalty stroke for that, loses it, and goes from first place to second place in that 1997 Veterans Park Open in the MA1 division. This was, and he finished sandwiched between Mike Grider and Nolan Grider, who Nolan Grider is a very well-known Texas pro player. He's played on many pro events, and in that same round in MA2 on the AM side, Eric McCabe, EMAC, won like his first year playing tournaments. That's crazy. 1997. So that's just an interesting little bit of facts. Feel free to, if you guys have some cool stories similar to that, or just like history of DFW that you'd love to share, just post some comments, or, reach out to us, shoot us a DM, or drop a comment and kind of let us know. I'm trying to see. I don't think there was anything else like super crazy. That was just one that definitely stood out to me.
Yeah, absolutely. But just to wrap things up, again, Dirty Dozen Tour concludes this Saturday, this Sunday, 3-round event. We don't get a lot of those. Get out there. I believe it's 2-round shotgun start Saturday, shotgun start Sunday, or is it tee times?
Shotgun start round 3.
Shotgun start all 3 rounds. Shotgun start all 3 rounds.
That's fine. Yeah, so you don't have to wait around.
You still get 3 rounds. There's not a lot of 3-rounders. Shotgun, like you said, shotgun start. You get to watch a little football afterwards. But honestly, probably going to be a big turnout. Going to be a great tournament to make. Probably the last big tournament of the season.
Players registered. Last
and again,
big event.
Like if we want disc golf tournaments to be the best they can be in Dallas, got to get out and play them.
You got to play.
If no one's playing, they don't get better.
Yeah,
so this is a great one to start.
And that's, man, we'll talk about that in another episode. Like as players, we kind of, it's definitely on us a little bit, and on the TDs, but on us, like if we're not playing these tournaments, we can't complain that
why are they
going to
host them?
Yeah, we're not going to. Yeah, exactly.
Get out and show some support. Let's go play some tournaments. Play some tournaments.
Matt doesn't play enough.
Matt Kinney doesn't play any tournaments. Yeah, if I've never met someone that plays less tournaments.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's all the segments honestly for today. Should we have like an ending where we just like close our laptops and walk off all cool?
No, because it's not cool.